Guys, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk French. This week I'm with Chad. Before we get into it, don't forget to like, follow, share and subscribe. We were literally just talking about this now, but I don't actually know how to ask the question properly. But aside from, obviously I know you really take risks as it is, but what would you say like this year has been like the biggest risk that you've taken?
I think I've taken a lot, but I think, well, the main one is obviously this is my first year. I joined a new training group this year, and prior to this year, I've been with my previous setup since I was about 16 till I was about 21. So, and most of my knowledge of the level of athletics I'm at now is all stemmed from my prior situation. So I'd say, it was a big leap. Even before I took this step, I didn't, because it was this is such an important thing to me. I was training by myself for a year. I didn't want to make any rash decisions. So I'd say the new environment of me joining a new group, new setup, getting used to that is probably the biggest risk I've taken this year. But I feel like, even though it's the biggest risk I've taken, I feel like when it comes to risk taking, it's not just one decision. It's not just one decision. It's a continual process of every day waking up and taking risk. The topic might be the same, the situation might be the same, but every day is a risk. Every day you continue to go with that same thing is a risk. So yeah.
So would you say you're more like calculated and you take them, or you just go with it? If that makes sense.
I think it depends. It depends on the situation. I feel like you always want to be calculated in everything, but at the same time, it's not always, you can't always do the mathematics and get it right. Sometimes you just gotta go with where your heart's telling you, and no risk, no reward, man.
That's true.
I feel like as well, from where we're from, coming from where we're from, taking risk isn't really something crazy. That's very much how we see, if success is on this side of the land and you're here, I feel like taking risks is what we see as the bridge, if that makes sense.
Yeah, fact. I was gonna say, our one's kind of similar for the biggest risk taking this year, innit? Because with me, I wasn't with my previous coach for as long as you, but I was there from September 2020. Yeah, I think lockdown. Yeah. I joined then and I left this year, and I think even when I was similar to you, obviously it's not something that you take lightly. You don't just wake up and say I'm gonna leave. You have to actually think about it. Because I was raw. I spoke to my mom about it, my parents, spoke to you, my other friends as well, both from athletics and not from athletics. And I had to really weigh out the pros and cons of both, because I feel as much as I feel especially with track, and obviously especially with track in particular, I'm the one that's on the line, innit? So everything I do is, I'm the one that's racing at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to stay somewhere where I'm not happy. So I feel before leaving, obviously I spoke to my friends, I looked around at different groups, not just not where I'm now, but I looked at different groups, the area they're at, who's in the group, the number of the group, do you know what I mean? The days that they train, X, Y, and Z. And I feel realistically, it would have been smarter for me to leave at the end of the season. But then when obviously it started getting a bit more, I'm not going to go too in depth, but it started to get a bit more, I wasn't really happy where I was in it. And then I was you know what, it's either you risk it and leave, because I left 2 weeks before my opener, in it. So it's you either risk it and you just leave the group, or you just try and fug it out to the end of the season. But my thing was the way I am, if I'm not happy, I'm not going to perform well at all, in it. So it's even if I know this program and my body is used to it, when we're racing, I'm not going to be happy, so I'm not going to race well, innit? But at the same time, I was like, you know, if I leave mid-season, I don't know what the program's like. I don't. When I say that, I mean like I don't know if they're ready to race yet. I don't know what kind of intensity they're at. You can get injured because, you know what I mean, the workload. And obviously, there was this 1 week I said, she needs to go. I did it, and I think that's probably the best thing I've done this year, because it was like, obviously I know it's risky, but like, at the end of the day, I'm going to benefit from it either way. Like obviously, I managed to race twice this year, and they were like, I had like a PB and 2, and the one was just like calm, but it was like no, it was calm. Obviously, then again, like the workload probably got to me as well. I got injured in it, but I'm like, a part of me will feel like, oh, but I got injured if I stayed in my awkward. But then I'm like, not really. I can't think about that, because at the same time, it's like I'm getting better now, so who actually cares? Do you know what I mean? And at the same time, I didn't just switch groups for this season. Like, I'm keeping it long term, so it's like, in talking about risk in that way, it's true. Like it's you can't always calculate what's gonna happen, but things happen. But I think again, that's probably just another thing as well. Like even like, you know, like betting on yourself as well.
Yeah,
I think that's something that everyone needs to. Cause as much as like it's all good to this, cool. I do this a lot. I'll go to my friends, people, oh, what do you think? But sometimes like, what does Ines actually think? Like, what should I do? And with me, I know I can do something. So if for me, as long as I believe I can do it, I can do it. Do you know what I mean? I don't really care if everybody else says X, Y, and Z. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's this thing that I always say to my brother, like no one knows, or we both say like no one knows anything. Like obviously, it's the like calculating things is cool, but I feel like until you break the mold with something, like everyone knows exactly what to do in everything until someone breaks the mold and does something like that's an anomaly. So like, say for example, like Usain Bolt, like until he ran 9.5, I guarantee you, like 5-10 years before that, no one would have a route of how to run 9.5, or no one would believe any human could run 9.5 until he's done that. Mm-hmm. And then, oh, we know how to do this. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, so you can only go based off what your heart, if you like, when something's big, when you got a big goal and you're trying to achieve a lot, I feel like you can only go with your heart. Like your heart's such a big part of driving force for everything, and you sometimes just got to go with your heart and go off emotion, really and truly, to push you to where others can't see. As you were saying with yourself, like mentally you knew how you felt. Like if you stayed in whatever situation, like I could sit here and tell you, oh no, Liz, but like if you stay yeah, then it's gonna like this could happen, but only you're the one that's in it. Mm-hmm. After I have that convo with you, I'm going back to my situation. Yeah. So you know best, like how you need to be to fulfill the best outcome for yourself. So
no, it's true, because again, I always think at the track here, and like this is what I believe in, as like the reason why I feel like the mind is such a strong thing, is because when you actually like break everything down, like obviously there's other things you need to put into it, but everyone does similar stuff. Like everyone does 150s, split runs,
exactly,
blocks. Everyone does like, I don't know, mobility. Everyone's doing this. It might be a bit different, but everyone's doing the same thing. But I feel like what makes it different, it's up here. Like I think once this is sorted for everyone, like even for me, once this is sorted, there's nothing that you can't do. Yeah. Which is that's what I'm saying. I actually agree with what you're saying. Like that's the biggest thing. Yeah. That's basically what gets you to your whole. What you said earlier, success is here and
success is here. You're here. And betting on yourself, taking risks is the bridge that gets you there. I made that up on the spot. Just I made that up on the spot. But do you know what? Like even like looking back, like because obviously I was with Adidas for what 3 years, basically 3 years, and I signed when I was 18. Yeah. So prior to me leaving them, I had like a year where I didn't run because of COVID. So like I've actually never really spoken too much about this, but like basically when it was time to re-sign, like I didn't have much leverage to go to them and like negotiate what I really wanted, if that makes sense, or what I felt like my worth was. So the power was in their hands, and what I was offered, like a lot of man, a lot of man in track will probably take that because you know they ain't got it like. You get me?
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're saying.
You know, athletes just take silly money and just ruin the game. But I'm just never been one of them guys. So, like, I could have just gone with the safe option of taking something less than what I know is my worth and being comfortable, being able to pay coaching fee, being able to cover expenses, do this and that, carry on going, and keep the image of, wow, I'm a sponsored Adidas athlete, blah, 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 all of that foolishness. Yeah, I could have done that, or done what I did, which was bet on myself and say, nah, let me leave the security of like having that salary and support and grind, put in this work. As shout out Brandon, as me and Brandon love to say, there's a song by Meek Mill called I think it's called Left Hollywood. It's like, yo, sometimes you gotta leave Hollywood for a sec, bet on yourself, say, yo, like, let's go back to work, forget everything that's happened before, get back better, come back and then go. But you can only do that if you believe in yourself. Sometimes it's not easy to dream big, because also when you've hit hurdles, like when you dream and you hit hurdles, the fall is harder. You get me? Because you jumped so high and the landing is even tougher, innit? So it's just like I feel like with betting on yourself, it's got to be a thing where you don't see any other outcome. Like, you don't see any other way of things going other than what you intend on it being. And people look at you like you're crazy, but they're just not really operating at the level that you're trying to be at, I feel like. So, yeah, man. I just think betting on yourself, like...
It's kind of a dumb question, yeah. Obviously, because you mentioned that. Again, you and I, we even had that convo before, innit? Now that, like, you're, like, where you are now, obviously, we know that it's paid off, yeah. But what do you think was, like, the biggest difference? Obviously, because you did come from being, like, sponsored from young. Well, 18 is young, innit? 18 is not big. It's kind of young.
Yeah. To go, well, straight out of college.
So. That's what I'm saying. So, alright, cool. So, coming straight out of college then, and you signing, whatnot, and obviously now, how you are now, yeah. Like, what would you say is, and I mean, like, aside from, like, the money and how easy it can be to pay for stuff, yeah, what would you say has been, like, the biggest difference, you would say? Because obviously you've done both. What would you say is the biggest difference? Money aside.
I think it depends on the person. I think for me, I wouldn't say there's a difference. I just think, as I said, you gotta leave Hollywood. It's the mentality. Like, I think it's easier to be motivated when you don't have the support. Like, you gotta people knowing you and sending emails saying, going to events, all of that, like, sometimes it kind of blocks your vision. Like, I'm not saying it held me back or whatnot, but I think, like, before I was signed, because I have to compare it from before I was signed, when I was signed, and now.
To now.
I think before I was signed and now, the hunger is just crazy. Like, and I was still like extremely hungry, but I just think I just wasn't it. If I don't put in work now, I'm on the streets. Not literally, but
I get what you mean.
like,
Yeah,
you get me. Whereas when you've got that
support.
that retainer, like if I didn't, when I was signed, it was probably my worst years, to be honest. Performance wise, I won a European junior medal, but I was injured throughout my whole
season,
my whole like contract. So, like, really and truly, like, I was basically just riding along. Like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do what I should have done in that time.
In the time period.
And I don't think it's because I wasn't focused or whatnot, but I just think that had to happen. I never look at anything in life like, oh man, if I could go back. I don't do that. Like, here I am sitting here right now, and everything I've gone through or whatever circumstance it is, I feel like it's because for me to get to that level that I'm trying to be at, I needed to go through that. I needed to be stripped away from all of that. Like, I needed to be here, and I don't see it as an L because of what I just said to you. I only see the outcome of where I'm gonna be. That's all I see. So I can't see anything as a loss, as an L. It's a learning, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't think. I just think when I was in the contract, just the security, it's a dangerous place. It's a dangerous place to be in if you're not screwed on fully here, because you can easily fall back. And you do see a lot of people sign and then not really do much after that. But yeah, I thank God for it, even though it's flipping hard.
I can imagine.
It's not easy.
I can actually imagine. No, but
but also I just want to say, also young athletes coming up, like, don't just take deals and just like talk to people. There's a lot of us who's been through things. Don't just take deals and kill the game. Like, our value is a lot more than what you see. Like, so don't just jump at what you see on the surface. Like, you get me? Like, try and reach out and talk to people.
So before that, did you speak to some? You had your brother?
Obviously, my brother was with Adidas.
It was kind of easier for you to just go with that, innit? Like, to pick. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So it was, and I did have an agent before I signed. So it was. But even still, like, you still gotta get different. There's no harm. It doesn't cost anything to talk to people.
Nice, sure.
And I always listen to people, take in what they say. You don't need to necessarily go with it, but it's still experience.
Nice, sure. I like listening to people as well.
Yeah, something that you don't know at that time, you can take in.
But even like the believing in yourself here, I'll be real. I took a while to, like, again, going back to like earlier this year, innit? Like, obviously because of my situation, yeah, like, everything felt like a chore in it. So I kind of started to, because I started to dislike track and dislike going training and that the belief just started to drop. Because my thing was like, I'm not gonna go too in depth here, but it's like, you know, like without a coach, like, if you're not getting everything that you want, it's like, alright, cool. This is gonna sound cool. I'm gonna say it's ruining it. Basically, with me, obviously, I believe in myself already, yeah. But it's nice to know that person 110% believes in you too, innit? 100%. But for me, since I'm the one that's running, I kind of need you to give me something so I can work with it. If you're not giving that to me, like, obviously, like, how do you expect me to be mentally 100? Obviously, I know it's on me, but at the same time, like, we're spending a lot of time together, so it would help. Because like, again, I can get anyone to just set a time for me and just make me run.
If someone's not feeding you the energy that you need, they could be taken away.
That's what I'm saying. But I think, like, something that I started doing start of September last year, I have like a whiteboard in my room, innit? Obviously, I look in the mirror like every day.
Of course you do.
I look in the mirror like every day, innit? So my whiteboard is it hangs over a mirror, and obviously every day I just look at it, and I have my goals for like track, and I had all my uni goals, they were there as well, innit? Just split in the middle. And it's like, there's sometimes when I feel like down or whatever, I just look at it and like, yeah, like, gotta keep going, gotta keep pushing. And it's like, even what you said about how like hurdles and that, like now that I'm done uni, now that I finished uni, there were like certain things where I was like, can I do this? Can I not do this? And then the other day, like I ticked all my boxes and I was like, raw, like that went quick. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, sometimes when I'm feeling low, just seeing what I've written down, it just gives me that little boost. Like even in athletics, for example, like because with us as well, yeah, like, and well, for me in particular, yeah, it's just based on numbers. Like it's what you run. Do you know what I mean? Like someone can run this time and make the thingy, and you won't, just by like a fraction or something. So with me, it's like I've kind of stopped just putting everything based on time, and I've kind of changed my goals. Like for like my day-to-day goal, for example, like for this season, times aside, I have stuff like give 100% at every session, be consistent. What else do I have to say? Be consistent, give 100%. Have stuff like when you're at this place, make rounds. Like I don't know, stay right. I said make sure you're making rounds. Yeah. Be a finalist there. With me, recently I've gotten better, yeah, because now I've got like a physio in it, or physio, whatever. But before I was terrible with like my S&C and like rehab. All I used to do was just focus there on running. Gym, I was a little bit up and down within it, but I feel like even stuff like that, when I just write that down, it's like a reminder to just keep on going. Because like you said, like it's all good and that speaking to someone, telling them what you're gonna do, but if you're not gonna do it, then it's just because something that I live by as well, yeah. And Young Bane said this actually. It's actually true that he said that conversations about problems don't solve nothing, and that's how I like to like approach a lot of things in it. Like I know it's just like one lyric here, but to me it's actually true, because I can sit and just talk about something for time. If I ain't doing it, it's just gonna be the same thing again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's there for something.
What do you think? Like, what do you think when you're hit with like whatever it might be, like that thing of you choosing to like believe in yourself or just take the leeway, like just kind of give up, like what do you think, like for you, like pushes you to continue going through?
What, in track or in general?
Just in general.
Alright, cool. What kept me pushing with uni was one, just knowing that when I'm done, I get my degree. And what kept me pushing was that obviously my mum and uni as well in it, so that was also nice. So like it was nice motivation in it, but at the same time for me it was just like I know where the end goal is. I think that's why I think I've told you this before, innit? I feel like with me, whilst balancing uni and track, I feel like the reason why I used to give uni more than track, yeah, was because, you know, with track, yeah, you can do everything right and it still might not even, obviously no, it will still work. And it's when everything will, like, you can do everything right in track, yeah, and it will come when the time is ready, innit? Maybe not when you want it to, but it will come eventually, innit? But for me, what made it easier to keep pushing the uni was like, innit, if you just do this, you're gonna get a good grade. Yeah. Like in athletics, for example, this year, I actually ate well. I was sleeping. Sleep was up and down because of my other job. I was just doing things right and I still got hurt. So it was just like, but I've had seasons where I've been injury free and I've just like, fam, I don't know how I'm injury free because I'm not doing, do you know what I mean? But again, I have pushed myself this system. Maybe that's that. But in track though, I think what pushes me in track here is one, my friends. Like for example, like me and you, we're from the same area, innit? So it's like seeing you get to do it, I'm like, yeah, I can do it too. Like we're from this, like you're not like from like not like it means nothing, but you're not from like that's what I was saying. Like you're from, and you're not like, oh, I'm comparing myself to like someone that's from,
man's just a normal youth, like
same people, like same match. It's just we've got the same test score, we've got the same everything, the same minute. So that's also motivational. But then I'm like, it's little stuff like when I want to sometimes give up small. I might have like a rep at training and I run my fastest 150. I'm like, raw, you can get better then. Let's keep on. It's just the little stuff, like it's the small wins, like, you know what I mean? Let's keep on going because you can actually, even when I have like I feel like it's a bad week, but on the line, apparently I can run that time. So
yeah.
that keeps me pushing. And the last thing I think that keeps me pushing is, I think I'm actually, everything that I say I'm going to do, I always do. So with track in particular, I feel like I owe it to myself, innit, to get this done. Because no matter how long it takes, I just need to get it done. Because I said that everything I said, like when I was like in secondary and college, I said I'm going to get like my uni done. I done that. Do you know what I mean? When I spoke to you about starting the pod, I started it and I've kept going with it. I said I'm going to do track and I need to do something and I can't stop till I'm done. Yeah. Like once I've hit that, when I retire, I can move whenever, but I need to hit that first, then I can start. Do you know what I mean? So I think for me, that's what keeps me going. Like no matter how bad I'm feeling or like up and down, like there's still things to do in it.
Yeah.
What about you? What keeps you like going?
I think I've not fulfilled my full potential. Like if I know that there's more in the tank, innit? So until that's released, then I can't really stop. Also, family, like honestly, yeah, like family and friends, like plays a huge part, especially when things are hard. But, like it could be the smallest thing. Like I got my hair done today, for example. I'm just with my auntie. Told her, oh, I'm running on the weekend. Oh, like yeah, just make sure, you know, because I remember when you used to be going and when you was, you know, running up and down and this. So just make sure, because no one out there is better. It's something small like that. Or I post something on Instagram and one of the man them who don't do nothing to do with track repost it and just put something like a little caption. Just the smallest thing like that. Like yo, like nah, man. Like people really believe in you. Like, and sometimes like the little like L's can kind of set you down. Like say you had like a jug. I love these analogies. Yeah? Say you had a jug, that was full of juice, and then like each L, like it just slightly tilts and just keeps like pouring out. But like the re-up, like for it to be full, like is each time you get new motivation, but it's not coming, and like your tank's halfway down, it's almost empty. Obviously, when it's empty, you're done.
You ain't even know, Chad. I said
it's almost empty, and then like I just go see my auntie, and a little bit is poured back in. Like one of the man them, yo, Chad, hey, let's go, man. Like you get me, yo, poured more back in. Like you get me, but at the same time, I think obviously Floyd Mayweather was one of my biggest like inspirations, and he always said like, I motivate myself. Like you have to be able to motivate yourself. You can't rely on other people, because let's say you can't get access to someone, or you can't, I don't go to my aunties, or I don't post and someone says something. You get me? So what are you gonna do? I have to wake up every day and be motivated and go. So I just feel like a new day for me is just motivation to go. And the fact that we're all human beings, we all bleed the same. Like, if I ain't motivated, that means I think man them out here are better than me. And for me, that's crazy.
That's like, crazy.
That's crazy.
Nah, it's true, because I agree.
Be thinking other men are out here better than me. That's crazy.
Nah, I agree with you, because it's actually true. Cause at the end of the day, like for example, perfect example, like I feel like with me, I've been dramatic over the years, innit? I've had pains where I'm like, I'll say, I'm injured, but like it's calm. This is the first time that I couldn't run, and I'm talking like it's been. Well, I had him how long? I've seen him 7 weeks. Yeah. Cool. I ain't run in 7 weeks. Yeah. So normally I'd be like, I'm injured, but I can I can't do nothing in it. Yeah. So when I'm telling these lot like, I'm actually injured. Like at first they're like, I need to rest, man. It's calm. It's stop. And I'm like. I can't, like stuff like, you know how people like talking to friends and family, as much as they're always there for me and that, like when it's stuff like that, it's just me. Like I can't listen to you guys, because when you're telling me, I'll just leave it, no. Like, I need to actually be on top of my rehab. I need to do everything in it. So it's like where you lot are just like, oh, if it ends, maybe you should just stop. No, I can't. Like that's when I have to just block you guys out and just do my thing. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't always, because like he says in it, you can't always like take everything that them not say. Obviously, they always mean well. Yeah. But there's again, you're not running. Like you don't do track. I do track. So I know what I'm talking about.
There's always that one uncle like. There's always that one uncle that just knows it all in your family.
Mama's like, oh,
and if you follow it, you will run yourself into the ground.
You're finished. Like you're literally. You're literally finished. Yeah. And what was I gonna say? I was gonna say I had a it's not really a question. Yeah, it's more of like. Obviously, you've already said about what helps you, yeah. But what would you say? Because obviously, just to wrap this up, yeah. What would you say to like any athlete right now? Let's give them like, let's say it's an athlete right now that they've always had good, calm, consistent seasons, yeah. And like this is the season where it's like nothing's working.
That is actually a mad question because, like, you see, like, obviously my trajectory in athletics, I've been running full time, even though I'm very young. Like, in comparison to most of my peers, like I've been running way longer. Like I started training and stuff when I was like 7, and then I first competed when I was like 10. So I wasn't like mad for like I wasn't like crazy when I first started. Like I was okay, but it took me time, like even when I was in school, like man were close to me, bearing in mind I'd been training, like I'd actually been training for athletics, like just people who just were just naturally faster than me. So my journey isn't the same as people who just had that steady consistency. So I always say to guys, because you always see it, like someone will just come on the scene and just run a mad time, have like 2, 3, 6 seasons where they're just used to winning, and then say like something could like just growing catches up, other people start finally catching up, and then it's like it's kind of like because you didn't necessarily work hard for it. I'm not saying they haven't worked hard, but because you didn't really grind for it, you don't understand what it takes to really like get to a certain level. So you're like, but I was eating McDonald's, but I was still beating all these people. But like, so I would just say to those people, like, it's all about mastering your craft. It's not about what you've done in the past. It's not about what you think it takes. You need to be consistently evolving, like daily, monthly, yearly.
Perfectly, I can't.
You need to continuously be evolving. Every day can be better. Like obviously, my dad has a training group with like mainly younger athletes. So sometimes I'll go down and help him out there. And like I always say to them, like, you gotta be watching videos like of athletics. Like I'm like to them, if you show me a race, I could probably tell you who's won it, how many races I've watched like in athletics. But even though I've done that, I still need to be evolving. It doesn't matter where you get to, you have to continuously be evolving, otherwise it's going to become stagnant. And I feel like if you always have the mindset of there's always more, then there's always times where things get rough. Like for me, like my PB is from 2018, 10:33, and it's taken me 4 years. This year, literally, like what, 2 weeks ago,
the other day,
for me to equal it. Like it's taken me 4 years because of a lot of injuries and just so many things. But it's funny because that year that I signed and went World Juniors, all of that, in my head, I always thought like there's gonna be a point, Chad, where things get hard because this is too steady. Like even I worked smart, like the work was crazy, but I was like, it can't just go like that forever. It's gonna get hard, so be prepared. So that's why now I'm just like, I'm not, nothing like knocks can't get me down.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to know that when something gets hard, like, you need to work harder. You need to outwork that thing. You get me? So
that was
yeah,
you said that really nicely, you know. You said that really nicely.
Yeah, man. You know, I'm trying to be a poet, man. You know what I'm saying? What? Yeah, man.
Anyways, guys, I hope
before you wrap up, I just want to say, like, shout out.
Why you laugh? Who you shouting out?
Shout out Blowing Minds, yeah.
Oh,
On the teas, Zanson.
Oh, is it?
Zanson stuff. Blowing Minds. Shout out their teas, man. They got a lot of cold stuff. Like, it's all mainly football, classic football stuff. They got Ivory Coast. They got, who else they got? They got Nigeria, Ghana, and a lot more are coming. New stuff's coming. So shout them out, man. It's hard, oversized teas, you know, cold drip, man.
Oh, that's baby soon.
Yeah, man. Just shout them out, man. Just gotta do that.
Yeah, guys. Thanks for listening this week. Again, don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe, and see you next week.